This week's Torah portion is called Vayishlach, which means "and he sent." Yaakov sends messengers to his brother Esav. In the last interaction between these two brothers decades ago, Esav threatened to kill Yaakov. Has time healed the wounds between these two brothers? Esav advances towards Yaakov with an army of 400 men. So far, it doesn't look good. Yaakov spends the night alone in prayer. In front of him, his brothers advancing towards him with an army. Behind him is his uncle with his army who will kill him if he retreats. In the middle of all this, a man appears and attacks him. They wrestle all night until the man dislocates Yaakov's hip. Yaakov understands that he must continue his homeward journey and face whatever consequences await him. It's a coming-of-age moment for Yaakov, whose name changes to Israel. Yaakov and Esav have a powerful reconciliation with each other. They forgive each other, but part company, seemingly never to see each other again. Yaakov's journey home seems to be wide open for him. However, two tragic incidents happen afterwards. His daughter Dinah gets sexually assaulted, and his soulmate Rachel dies while in childbirth, giving birth to her second son, Benjamin. Both situations involve death surrounding women in Israel's family. And both situations also involve words spoken in haste. In the case of Rachel specifically, Yaakov had sworn death upon whoever stole Lavan's property. He didn't realize that his favorite wife was the thief. This deadly consequence brings us back to the danger of favoritism in the household. It also highlights how deadly our words can be. But what does this have to do with parental alienation? Parental alienation uses words to destroy a relationship between children and their parents. Last week we analyzed favoritism in the household, and we discussed whether favoritism can be linked to parental alienation or contact refusal. We've learned that contact refusals in situations where children have reasonable justification to sever ties with the parent. If there is no reasonable justification, then it's parental alienation. Is favoritism a reasonable justification for a child to sever ties with the parent? The answer depends on the situation. One could argue that extreme cases of favoritism justify a severance of contact between parents and children. On the other hand, one could argue that mild forms of favoritism occur in many households without such an extreme reaction. Certainly, any type of favoritism is dangerous and can lead to conflict, as we see in the Torah portion. In order to evaluate whether favoritism rises to the level of parental alienation, we need additional tools. Last week, we learned that there are 8 signs of parental alienation: a campaign of denigration against a previously loved parent, weak, frivolous, and absurd rationalizations, lack of ambivalence about the alienating parent, the independent thinker phenomenon, absence of guilt about the treatment of the targeted parent, reflexive support for the alienating parent in parental conflict, presence of borrowed scenarios, rejection of extended family. I would like to highlight the first sign, a campaign of denigration against a previously loved parent. In order to consider whether a situation is parental alienation, there needs to be a loving bond between a parent and a child that gets severed. Usually such situations involve the use of words to convince a child that the targeted parent doesn't deserve his or her love. Do we see this in Israel's family? So far, we see a loving bond between Israel and his children, albeit there is favoritism in the household. But we don't see a severance in that loving bond between Israel and any of his children. Next week's Torah portion is called Vayeshev, where we will continue to observe this parent-child bond. Will it survive?